Hey everyone, James Lynch here doing a quick reaction video to the news that Umar Nurmagomedov will be taking on former flyweight champion Deiveson Figueiredo at UFC 324. This according to Dana White, who made a bunch of announcements, which by the way, I did a ton of videos on these announcements. Go check those out in the reaction playlist here on the channel. This was a fight I didn't know about. The rest of them I knew, the videos that I was able to record ahead of time. So this was a complete surprise, but it makes sense. Like, who is Umar going to fight after they booked the Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong fight? I actually thought Song Yadong and Umar would have been the better fight. He could have done O'Malley against someone else, but this is fine. I mean, let's call it like it is. This is just a stay busy fight. I wouldn't have had an issue if Umar fought the winner of Merab Dvalishvili and Petr Yan next week, honestly, because he had such a close fight against Merab in that first one. I know the rematch would be, again, like not that long after the first fight. They fought in January, but I do think Umar's that good. And still to this date, Umar has given Merab Dvalishvili the closest fight he's had as champion. So kind of worth mentioning there. As far as the rankings go between these two, Umar currently ranked number 1, Deiveson ranked number 6. And let's do a quick tail of the tape between these two. You got Umar Nurmagomedov, who is 19-1, just the one loss there to Merab. He is 29 years old, 5'8" with a 69-inch reach. Deiveson Figueiredo, much older, 37 years old, 5'5" with a 68-inch reach. So height and reach wise, Umar a little bit taller, got just the 1-inch reach advantage in this fight. But you can see there 3 inches in height for Umar, and also 8 years younger than Deiveson Figueiredo in this matchup. Of course, Umar is coming off a pretty solid win over Mario Batista in his last fight. Batista, I know a lot of people felt like, some of those fights he had previously, he didn't deserve to win. But I mean, there was a lot of upside there for Batista to winning that fight, and not a lot of upside in Umar winning that fight. And I thought Umar performed very well in that one, getting a decision over a very tricky fighter in Mario Batista. He's got good fight IQ. Batista's always been able to find a way to win decisions, and Umar was able to solve that puzzle and get the win there. And I thought it was a really good showing from him after getting the after having the loss to Merab Dvalishvili. And one thing I'll give Umar credit for as well is after the fight, he's like, look, like I'm not in a rush to get a title shot again. I got things to work on. I thought that was really humble of him to say, very good. And you have to imagine though, if he wins this fight, I think he is going to get the winner of next Saturday's fight between Merab and Petr Yan, which by the way, if you haven't watched my breakdown on that, I have that up on the channel right now. But you look at it there, he's had a couple really good wins. The Barcelos win, he finished him in the first one. Actually, the way he beat Barcelos and having that win has actually aged quite well. Barcelos beating Peyton Talbot, beating Ricky Simon. So that one's aged well. Bekzat, I think, is a good fighter. Corey Sandhagen, obviously, one of his best. Actually, that is his best win to date. I think a Corey Sandhagen win is better than the Mario Batista one, but still very impressive there. Now, Deiveson Figueiredo, you kind of look at the record at bantamweight and you go, he's probably going to lose this fight. And understandable. I mean, Petr Yan, he lost to him and Sandhagen, but these are two guys at the top of the heap here. He beats Chito Vera, beats Garbrandt and Font. Those are some good wins. But you thought after the back-to-back losses, maybe he isn't a contender anymore. And then he's an underdog against Montel Jackson, and he ends up getting the win here as a plus 265 underdog. I think this speaks more to Jackson not really living up to the hype. I think with Deiveson, again, I think he's a solid fighter. Is he a contender? I still have some questions about that. I think this is a great opportunity for Deiveson. And let's be honest, this is probably Deiveson's last crack at trying to get a title shot. Like, if he beats Umar, that's going to put him right at the top again. So he kind of needs to win this fight, I think, for his career. I don't think there's any indication he's going to drop back down to flyweight. Again, fighters, when they're this old, they don't typically go back down a weight class. So I could see him sticking around in this division or just retiring. So big opportunity here for Deiveson, but I think it goes without saying Umar is going to be the favorite in this fight. I think he's going to be a big betting favorite. I would almost put Umar, actually, yeah, I'll say it right now. If I had to make a betting line on this fight, and you guys can disagree with me if you want, I think Umar is going to be like minus 500. Like, if you look at the betting line for most of his fights, he is typically a pretty big betting favorite. I don't know what he was against Batista. We can go have a look here. Shout out to Best Fight Odds. Yeah, he was minus 430, close at minus 700 against Batista. He might actually even be higher than that. I actually think Batista is a harder fight for him than Deiveson Figueiredo. So yeah, for some reason they have Umar listed against Paul Hughes. That's his brother, actually, Usman, not Umar. But anyways, yeah, you look at the odds here. Against Merab, he was favored. Yeah, I mean, he was favored against Merab in their fight too. So he's probably going to be a big favorite. Would not shock me if we see this hit minus 1,000 at some point. And that's not to disrespect Deiveson Figueiredo. I just think it speaks to how good Umar is. And you see Umar with that #1 ranking. I completely agree. Like, I said this before, like, I get keeping Umar busy, and it's fine. I don't think we necessarily need to see the rematch against Merab right away. And again, Merab's still got to take care of business against Yan next week. I don't want to disrespect Yan here in this video. But I think Umar's the best bantamweight in the world right now outside of Merab. That's what I feel. But he's got to go out there and show it. He's got to go out there and do it. I think a big thing for Umar in this fight that I would like to see, and it's only a 3-round fight, I would like to see him get a finish here. I think if he does that, that's really going to make a rematch or a title fight again for him much more intriguing if he does it. He's got finishes before. I mentioned the Barcelos fight. We need to see more of that. We need to see him going out there. And this, to me, you're fighting an older guy who, granted, he's tough to finish too, although he does have 2 knockout losses, 1 submission loss. I think there's a good opportunity here for Umar to really shine and get us more hyped about the rematch. I mean, even if he goes the distance, I think I'm still intrigued by a rematch between Merab and Umar, but I just think if he goes out there, shows levels in this fight, goes out there and finishes Deiveson, I think it's going to be that much better. But glad to see Umar back. Again, the fight with Batista was when? That was back in October. He fought in January, twice a year. That's good. You'd like to see 3 fights a year, but I know there's other reasons for that. But yeah, and actually he was injured. That was the issue, right? He had the hurt hand, I think. Which he had in the Merab fight. That's why he was out so long. So yeah, hopefully we'll see him a bit more active. But yeah, that's a fight I want to see in 2026 is Umar fighting for the title again. I think this is a good way to start things out. Again, pretty good fight there. Would have liked him and Song Yadong. I think that's a little bit more competitive because I think with Song, he's young enough where, I think we are starting to see improvements and maybe him surprising some people. I hate to say it with Deiveson Figueiredo, you kind of know what you're going to get here. I think he's a very solid fighter, very good flyweight. Got a couple good wins at bantamweight. Like I said, Chito Vera, Montel Jackson was ranked, although I don't think too highly of that win. But I think the big thing is, can he get over the hump here? And I don't think he does. And I'll do an early look breakdown on this, getting closer to the fight. I'm actually going to have to do a lot of early look previews because there's a lot of, solid matchups on this 324 card. But we'll see. Like I said, I kind of think Deiveson, if you got to have the mentality, go for broke, try and knock him out, do something, because this is going to be his last opportunity at a title. Like I said, I don't think he's going down to 25 and 35. This is your ticket right here. You beat Umar, you go out there and do it. But like I said, I think Umar's going to take care of business. I also think he's going to be a big favorite here. Like I said, I think right now it'll probably open to minus 500, but I could see it climbing to minus 1,000 here. So we'll see. But yeah, Umar, I'm expecting big things for 2026. And he's right there. Again, tough, close fight there with Merab. If we, just to kind of not rehash things a little bit, but if you go look at the stats from that fight with Merab, fairly close, right? Not that far off. 111 to 104. That's not a huge difference. 42 to 43 significant strikes. 7 takedowns for Merab, 2 for Umar. He's right there. And that was a big jump up too. Not necessarily from Sandhagen, but he'd only fought, his only good opponent prior to fighting Merab was Sandhagen. So all this is experience. And it's still, he's getting into the prime of his career. He's 29 right now. So we're kind of getting there. But like I said, I think a big thing for Umar here, I think it would be great if he could go get the finish. Or at the very least, I think at the very least he'll get a dominant win, but I think a finish would really sort of turn some heads a little bit if he's able to do that. So we'll see what happens. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Was this a fight to make? And I normally ask what your prediction is, but I just want to know who's picking Deiveson Figueiredo. Speak now and I'll give you full credit. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @Lynch on Sports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.